Hey smokers, Draco1 here, and today we're going to be taking another look at the iPod. Yeah, that's right, the iPod Photo that now has an SSD in it, a 128 gig SSD. So, I of course, since the last video I tried to copy a whole bunch of music to it. I actually reformatted it to be Windows format. So this is actually FAT32 instead of HFS Plus. As you can see, I've only got 1,700 songs on there. A screenshot of the past video shows that I already was trying to get up to 10,000 songs on this, which would fit easily, but for whatever reason, I started running into some file copy problems. I actually thought that prior to actually installing the SSD, I had the same file copy problems. They just would not copy. The file transfers just didn't move. It would start, but it just wouldn't move. So my theory is that it's because it's Windows formatted, and for whatever reason, it's having a problem with that. My theory is that if I try to copy files with the Mac, it won't have those same file copy problems. So this also leads into Rockbox. I should be able to install Rockbox without a problem, and then it'll be able to access all the music I've put on there so far, as well as any music I want to add. And the problem is I'm just going to have to use Mac to add music, assuming my theory is correct that its problem is with the Windows format. Worst case scenario, I'll have to wipe this entirely and just go only Macintosh format and everything else. So let's first try to put Rockbox on here with the Mac and see if it likes me. For those of you who zoned out during the little intro there, basically the iPod, you can't copy files to it that easily. It's stopping for some reason. Sometimes it doesn't even say do not disconnect when I plug it in. So we're going to plug it in right now to the Mac. So it does make iTunes pop up. You can even see iPod here. And hell, I mean, I think it may even let me copy files to it because it's FAT32. So, So right now we have 1,720 songs. That's all I managed to even get on there. So we're going to see if the problem is just simply that it doesn't like PCs and only wants to have songs put on via Mac. So right now this computer doesn't have any songs on it whatsoever. And all the files that are already on the iPod are already in the iTunes Music Library. These songs are already on the iPod. So I need to get some fresh ones to see if they'll copy. But I can't just try and copy a couple. I gotta copy a whole bunch because that's the whole point of this if I'm gonna get a process going. This Rockstore drive is old as balls. See, it's FireWire 400 only. This has my old iTunes Music Library that I first started back in 2005 when I first got a Mac. It has like 10,000 songs all on its own, and I've since created a whole new music library ever since depreciating this that's also 10,000 songs. So the likelihood of me getting all of that music on the iPod is pretty slim, but let's see if we can copy a couple albums without it totally crapping itself. Now right now, for testing's sake, I'm not going to be copying anything into this iTunes Music Library because this SSD is only 120 gigs. It's not all going to fit on there, obviously. So what I'm going to do is something called linking to your iTunes library rather than actually copying them in and letting it sort it. It sort of becomes more of a Winamp kind of thing where you're building a library. I don't know if Winamp's the best example, but you're building a library and it just has links to different places wherever the music is on your hard disk, and there's no one consolidated location. So although that's not a good idea for organization or knowing where the fuck all your music is, but it's good for if you don't want to have it copy everything. So I'm going to go in right here. I have my iTunes music folder right here, and holy hell, who knows how big this thing is. 110 gigabytes. My music folder from way back then is 110 gigabytes. There's a crap load of music on here. This is only like a 160 gig drive. It's kind of ridiculous. So what I'm going to try and do is link in a couple folders without actually doing a copy. So here's some music that I downloaded from the internet probably I don't know how many years ago. Let's find out. 2005. Good lord, I don't even remember this. So this is 8-Bit Weapon. They make 8-bit music and it's good, I guess. I think they're dead now, but I don't really know. So as you can see when I pull it up here, it had, well, now it's not doing it. It has a little green plus. If I were to let go, it will copy these files into the iTunes library and it will organize them as such. Hold down the Option key and that goes away. Let go, and now they're just sort of linked in there. So I select those and drag them onto the iPod. And look, no problem, just copies them all without an issue. So that might have been it. That might have been the whole friggin' problem right there. It just doesn't like Windows 10, doesn't like new iTunes, it just gets itchy and sad. So if I can do that, then in theory I could just link the entire library into this library and then try and copy it all. This will take hours because not only do we have to copy, but we're going to have to copy at around 400, it wouldn't be too bad because you're maxing out the FireWire bus on read and you're maxing as much as you can on the USB bus on write. So it's going to be around 400 megabits per second, probably a bit lower than that. So should I really do it? I mean, technically, I can just take this folder here, this iTunes Music folder, move it over here, and oh my god. Yeah, we don't want to do that quite yet. My camera's going to die. Hold on. And then the other thing is that since this drive is so old, if I start copying all these files, it's going to start thrashing and probably kill the drive. This isn't a big deal. I have this drive backed up somewhere else, so it's not the end of the world if it does it. And what else would I ever use this drive for? To copy this music off. And if I copy it onto the iPod, that sort of serves as a backup because once we have Rockbox installed on it, we can just, yeah, I forgot about Rockbox. Well, we can always copy the music off of it. Now, the downside to actually having iTunes copy music onto it is because it organizes all the music into ASCII. And basically this makes all your music have retarded ass file names, usually 4 characters, something that's used basically by the internal iPod software and library management system to identify where this stuff is. Apple never intended you to ever see these files. You weren't supposed to be able to copy music like this, and once they came out with iOS-based iPods and stuff, this became totally impossible. So the metadata is still there, so if I wanted to find like Kung Fury, you wouldn't find it because it won't search there. So it's either I copy everything from the iTunes folder into here, copy it to the iPod, see if it works, or we wait until Rockbox is installed, drag and drop the entire iTunes music folder onto the iPod, which is 110 gigs that will then go away. I don't even have 110 gigs free on the iPod. That can't really work. There's probably some files in this iTunes library that can't copy. iTunes will sort these out and only copy the stuff that can copy, so that way I actually will not get the whole shebang of all the songs. I'm just going to get the majority of the songs. It'll copy them over. Maybe it'll give me some options for, you know, maybe not starting a copy if they're not all going to fit. This becomes a nightmare that I really don't want to get into. So the question is, can I still copy files with iTunes? Let's just see what happens if I try to link it. Oh my god. So I guess that's gonna just go. Okay, so the plan is I'm gonna try and link a bunch of those files over there so I can access them later. And then I'm gonna take a couple chunks, real big chunks of music, and try to copy them over this to see if it runs into a problem that I was running into on the PC. If it doesn't, I'll install Rockbox. If it does, I'll have to reformat it, then install Rockbox, then use a Macintosh formatted iPod instead of a PC formatted one. We have to do Rockbox. I mean, we have to get Doom, and we gotta make sure we have enough room for Doom. So yeah, we're gonna wait. Probably just gonna take a couple hours. I've never seen something so intense! Yeah! So while it determines gapless playback information, we can take a look at some of the music we'll start dumping on this thing. Of course, one cannot be without our Hindu techno, which is probably culturally insensitive to say that. This is apparently what I called it back in 2006 or something. It's It's music, and it's pretty good. This is a song that uses a sample from the movie Elves. Yeah, the horror Christmas one that had Dan Haggerty in it. It was pretty terrible, but Santa was badass. That's all I remember. I think you can watch it on YouTube if you want. Each elf was to house the haploid gene structure. Well, the determination of gapless playback information has been completed. So let's, oh crap, there's a lot of Ender-Techno here, holy balls. Copy that, that's exactly 99 songs, which is kind of interesting. See if that'll copy. Well, it doesn't seem to be getting hung up like it did before. You can actually see in the top it gives an indicator that file transfer activity is taking place. That little thing in the corner there. Before, I think it would just get stuck on that. The interesting thing about this iPod is you can actually put it into disk mode, which disables it from any other functionality other than passing the disk over to USB as just a volume, which is kind of what it does anyway. And you can sync music to it like that, and iTunes doesn't pitch a fit thinking it's in recovery mode or something like that. It's just a very usable device. That was especially handy when I would plug it into USB and it would not show this screen. It would just be like I plugged it into a charger. So, okay, it's done. It seemed to have finished. Let's go ahead and try and copy a little bit more. Okay, so the new iTunes is kind of stupid. But this is the up next, and I've added all 1,684 songs from OC Remix, like a gigantic OC Remix collection back when OC Remix had only about that many songs. I downloaded every single song from OC Remix back in like 2007 or 2008. Let's try and copy them all to the iPod right now to see if it'll survive. Ooh, that's a lot. Oh shit, we can't copy it out of that. We can't copy it out of the up next. Well, that's a bag of asses. Luckily though, I decided to metadata my songs out so that anything written by any artist, as long as it was on OC Remix, it got its artist overwritten with the artist OC Remix, so I could find everything. This is a very bad case of poor metadata management, but oh, balls. Alright, so I've got 664 songs. Let's try and copy it over. Hope it doesn't poop its pants. How many gigs of music is that? 7.6 gigs. It's not even that much. So this is what I was talking about when I thought that some things wouldn't actually copy because iTunes just wouldn't let it. Law of a Passion, work in progress, because it cannot be played on this iPod. It's probably because it's FLAC. Because the audio format is not supported on the iPod. It's either that or Apple lossless. Or maybe there's some MIDI files that found their way in there. I don't know. But it is supposedly copying at this point in time. As you can see, it's copying all the OC Remix stuff right now, and it's not actually having a problem. And this is pretty impressive considering this is a Windows formatted iPod, and it's able to handle it better than Windows. However, this is a little slightly more period correct because we're running Snow Leopard with the older version of iTunes. Probably the iPod's a little bit more comfortable with that. I've probably already said that about 6 times by now, but I don't know. I'm just trying to say things while the most boring thing is happening in the world. Syncing your iPod, it takes like years, and this actually looks like it's going to get done within the next 20 minutes. It's only going to use up a fraction of what's on the iPod. Take a gander. Oh, it's growing. Holy crap, we're moving into the future. And that is what a weed addiction sped up over years sounds like. And if you're really frickin' crazy, you could even use this feature to convert all the songs into crap quality to save on your precious gigabytes. Hell, if we played our cards right, we could probably get 20,000 songs onto this iPod. Now that would be impressive. I promise guys, this is a really interesting video, like oh my god. Sometimes, and it's copying files right now, but it's not updating this counter anymore. So that kind of sucks. It just stopped counting. It's finished copying now. It just stopped counting. that's just how many songs there are. It just stopped counting and just went to the number of, yeah, whatever. Okay. So we've copied all that crap over to the iPod. Now what? We just sort of did that as a test to see what happens. Let's eject it and take a look at what's on the iPod. Full disclosure, it feels like it got a little bit warm, but not really. So this is OC Remix. This is everything I just dumped onto it. This is the gigantic album. Holy balls. Now if we look at About, 3483, I have 93 gigs free. Lots of room to grow. Still format Windows. So I could just copy that all over to iTunes and then it'd be friggin' awesome and I'd have pretty much everything I could have ever wanted. But we gotta do Rockbox. We gotta play that Doom, man. Alright, we're back to the Rockbox utility. So now we can actually change the mount point to something that actually exists. There's the iPod. And it's a 4th generation photo, color. Okay. So my hope is that it can actually copy these files over and properly install Rockbox on a Mac to a PC formatted iPod. This is not something you normally would want to do. You'd want to keep everything on the same platform it was on. But since we have some cross-moginations, we're going to have some issues there. So, and we also want to select some themes. I think the main theme I wanted to go with was... There's a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of it looks like really retro-styled, some of it looks really fancy, some of it's really functional, but I think I want to find the one that is box amp, which makes it look like Winamp, which I kind of enjoy. So we'll leave that there. Now, last time I tried to install this, not everything copied over right. Like, some stuff didn't work. It was weird. So we're going to see what happens. So, stable release, good. So let's give it a try. As you can see, it's actually doing something now where it didn't do it before. You install, so really this can happen with any iPod. The only exception here would be if you're on a PC and you have a Macintosh formatted iPod. I don't think you can do this, but if you have a PC formatted iPod formatted with FAT32, Mac will touch it, and so will the Mac version of Rockbox. This is probably as complicated as we could possibly get it. We have an SSD, we have it Windows formatted, we're doing this on a Mac and putting Rockbox on it. That's a lot of crazy shit going on, and guess what? The installation finished. As you can see, not a whole lot has changed, but we're already done. That's literally all it has to do. It's really simple. So let me go ahead and eject the iPod, and it's already going to try and restart itself. And this is where we're going to have actually some cool stuff happen. Oh, okay, we're already there. Before it needed to like do this weird loading thing. So here's the cool part, is it detects that it's connected. And check this out. Pretty nice, huh? Press play. Launches iTunes. And if you want, you can just press play. And it'll start playing. You can go next track. Next track. And you control your iPod as your media controller, and you can turn the volume up and down of the system volume. You can't actually turn the iTunes volume up or down, but you can turn the system volume up or down, which is kind of snazzy. So that's a neat little feature they threw in there. So there's one thing left we need to add to this before we disconnect it. This is after our Rockbox-ation. As you can see, there's some Lego Rock Raiders in there I was trying to copy, but it like didn't work because it wasn't copying stuff, so just forget about that. So, iPod control, and where the hell is the Rockbox folder? Oh, there's the Rockbox folder right there. I'm fucking blind. Oh, there's already a subfolder specifically dedicated to Doom. So we got two Doom wads here. We got Doom F and Rock Doom. We need to have some real wads in there. And the Doom wad. I don't know if we can actually select what wad we're going to load up. But there's Doom, and there's Doom 2. I don't know if we can play Doom 2. And then let's eject the iPod. And that should do it. I ejected it, but it's actually still acting as its little multimedia thing, so you can unplug it because it's sort of acting as a mouse there. So the next difficult part is it's going to have to create a database, and that's what this is right here. Database is not ready. So it's going to try and find all the songs that are already on there, and it'll just sit there and churn, burn up, and kill the battery. Just looking for all the songs. And if I remember correctly, we got 3,000 some odd songs. Seems to be going through them pretty quick. Oh, there it is. Committing database. Okay. So we should be able to browse them just like we would on the regular iPod software. Again, this is meant for people who already have all their music copied over to their iPod so that they can keep on using it with Rockbox without having to do what I just did. So now we have all of this crap. There's that techno stuff I was talking about earlier. Just to make sure it works, let's go ahead and plug it into the dock. Aw, yeah! Clearly we can play back the songs we've synced with iTunes, with our Mac iTunes from our Mac library from HFS Plus to a FAT32 formatted iPod that was originally formatted with Windows 10, and the iPod also has an SSD. So it's all kinds of confusing. So what's the second thing that we give a crap about? Well, that would probably be files. And there's our Lego Rock Raiders. So let's play Lego Rock. No, it's not going to happen. So the next thing is, like, this is small as hell. The next thing we gotta do is just play Doom, I guess. I don't know where that would be. Plugins, I guess. There's Doom. So let's go to options because we want to select what WAD. Always run fake contrast, status set keys, time demo, weapon recoil, translucency. So we can change a lot of settings here. Game might be. Okay, here we go. So we got Doom registered and Doom 2 and free Doom. So let's try Doom registered and then play game. And there we are. That's Doom. Doesn't appear to be playing any music currently. It's just playing the demo back. In terms of performance, it's not actually that bad. But I can't do anything. So I took it out of the dock. What the fuck? Let's actually go to free Doom. See if we could then, see if that actually works. First of all, okay, so that's, you can actually control the menus. I don't know if there's anything about free Doom that's any different, but we're actually playing it now. Left there, press menu to go forward. I don't remember how you switch weapons or anything. Oh, it's center is switch weapons. And then yeah, so this looks like entryway. This is strafe, to go like that. And play is fire. So free Doom seems to work. If you want to go to the menu, you got to go like that. That's probably what I needed to do with the other game. I forgot about that. Let's try it again. Try to do it right this time. Doom registered. Play game. Apparently it's not making any sound. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Got a new game. Let's do Shores of Hell. So here we are, Shores of Hell. We'll turn around there and go forward. And I keep wanting to press center button for shoot, but that's actually switch weapons. Play is actually shoot. You can press multiple buttons at once. Press this to go forward. Turn a little bit. You can strafe like this. So it is, you know, kind of the angle of my body right now is like really fucking uncomfortable. Holy shit. I think it crashed. Oh shit. No, this is a lot more comfortable. Look at that. Okay. So we're playing Doom on an SSD right now. Currently, this is kind of cool. I'd prefer a shotgun right now, but you know. Get the blue key. I want to see if I can actually complete a level here. Now, an interesting thing about the iPod 4th generation is I don't think it has any kind of method of adjusting the brightness. I think I just died right there. Yeah, I did. So let's try it again, because I'm pretty terrible with this. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm willing to say I'm at least okay with Doom normally, but holy shit, like, I can't play like this. But it doesn't have any sort of brightness adjustment, so I think you always get the full blast brightness. So yeah, we're playing this on battery, by the way, and it's still holding up. This will probably just kill your battery if you try to actually do this. Like you're on like a train ride somewhere and you're like, let's play me a game of Doom, and yeah, it's just not going to pan out very well. I just cannot see that working. Got about 3% health, and I'm dead. A little bit closer for you guys so you can see. A little closer for me so I can see, because this only balls is small. But again, yeah, this is on the, this is running pretty good for... Am I dead already? What the... Oh, I switched weapons. God, it's really hard to play with an iPod. But, you know, the fact that it's playing, it seems to be running okay. I was told that even on an iPod video, it was pretty terabad performance-wise. So this is actually a bit of a nice surprise. So let's go ahead and quit out of this. There's a lot of games that just come by default with Rockbox because they automatically believe that you're going to play a bunch of games on your iPod, because the only game that was available for your iPod before was that parachute game where you shoot the parachute guys, and the other game where you play Breakout. And I mean, those were good games, but I mean, there's so many more possibilities than this essentially computer. You know, if you play Doom, you know, it's a computer, right? So, but yeah, playing Doom on an SSD, that was fun. Loading up the database, yeah, this could take a while. If you try to access your files or access your artists and stuff, like, let's see what happens when I try to load up OC Remix. This is all the OC Remix. Here's the main folder. Oh my god! It's not so bad, look at all that. And we're done. Oh, no we're not, hold on. No, I think it's loading, okay. That's a lot of OC Remix right there. This is when I try to play one. Okay, that's cool. So it shows the current track, even though that's not the one I selected. Oh, the volume was just done. Okay. Let's try to play Doom again, see if I get some sound. I should be able to listen to The Dark Side of Phobos, which is actually Doom music. The song's frickin' intense. Should be able to go back and play Doom while we're listening to Doom remix music. Aw, man, it stopped it. I don't blame him. I mean, that's a kind of a hard thing to do on this. I mean, you sort of take it for granted now with smartphones that can multitask. I don't think this thing can multitask very well, because it already sort of canceled it. I pressed the play button, it didn't do anything, so. But we're not done yet! So, as you can see, I actually just unplugged the headphone jack, and it didn't pause the music. So, that's one point. I think you may be actually be able to change that in settings. There's even an uptime counter. Tells me how long the iPod's been on. Let's go back to plugins. Oh, here's our calendar. The calendar did exist on the iPod video, I think, but I don't know if it was actually on the photo. Oh my god, is this how you enter text? It's terrible. Oh god. Well, at least it's better than nothing, right? Why the fuck can I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Well, I gotta say, I'm pretty new to Rockbox, and I need to figure out all its quirks. So you can also record stuff, but I don't have the recording microphone or anything. Let's go to settings. Theme settings. Browse theme files. You can change the font. That's kind of cool. Box amp. Now, this failed to load last time I did it. But hey, I like that. That looks like I got Winamp in my pocket, man. Apparently I need to reinitialize the database. This is going to suck if I have to rebuild the database every time. Probably because I forced the thing to shut down and it needs to do this again. And the other cool thing about this is it can play FLAC files. So if you got your FLACs, this will do it. And as you can see, turning down the volume there. It has the same sort of Winamp kind of... Oh, wait a minute. Apple lossless audio codec? How do I have the Apple lossless version here? I do have an Apple lossless version of this song, but what's it doing on here? Now I'm really confused. So yeah, FLAC, ALAC. Let's try this one because I know I did not download the FLAC version of this. Yeah, MP3 320. So yeah, that's cool. It tells you what exactly you're listening to. And for some reason this doesn't have the album artwork or it hasn't loaded it in yet. So yeah, it's kind of finicky, but I think the main problem is my actual metadata and stuff is kind of ass right now. So. Well, everybody, I guess that sort of wraps it up. The Rockbox is really cool. I've yet to really dive in and get to using it on a day-to-day basis. This is sort of going to become my main music player for right now. Of course, my phone can actually do exactly the same thing. It has the exact same amount of storage space. But this, having a dedicated media player that's not linked into the rest of the world, you're not like jacked in, having your music cut out because some dude decided he wanted to text you, or you got some sort of notification from some app that you downloaded like 5 months ago because you have to tell your chickens to repopulate or some crap, I don't know. But yeah, none of this is going back to before the stuff in your pocket wasn't linked in to absolutely everything, and you can just like plug in and tune out, and you don't have any of that crap. I know there's do not disturb mode, but something tells me that this thing probably has a better digital to analog converter chip in it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and chances are we'll probably have another iPod video in the future. Thanks for watching.